You have one bullet against an entire army. What can you do on your own?
I told you. It's enough.
When 343 Industries announced Halo Infinite at E3 in 2018, players expected an open-world adventure on the scale of Breath of the Wild. Since then, the game has been reduced in size by 2/3, and the graphics of the game have come into serious question among its fanbase. Despite a rocky development roadmap and several delays, Halo Infinite still captures the essence that is Halo and breathes life back into what many thought was the distant memory of a franchise. Through an immersive and emotional single-player campaign and an exhilarating online multiplayer, 343 has managed to wow fans everywhere and reintroduce the world to what it means to be Master Chief. The story begins with an unknown soldier, Echo 216, discovering a seemingly dead Master Chief floating in space, and quickly ushers the player into the typical Halo storyline: constant struggles, traps, and obstacles that Master Chief pushes through seemingly without issue. Every heroic feat and every challenge is met with a stoic one-liner from our favorite faceless hero. However, despite Master Chief's tough exterior, Halo Infinite follows a deeper, more emotional saga of his insecurities about saving the human race and the sacrifices he's made along the way. We're given several scenes of Master Chief displaying a softer side as he ponders the meaning of his past missions with his new AI companion. Mixing Master Chief's gritty personality with an emotionally bound AI gives the story a beautiful interplay between two opposites, while also showcasing the importance of the bond between a Spartan and their AI pairing. The cinematics in the story are so incredibly well done that even going in blind, you can feel the epic scope of Master Chief's plight and his new AI's existential crisis. However, the backstory required to understand how deep these problems run is absolutely necessary to find the full depth and meaning in the story without being left scratching your head. If you're a new player or haven't played a Halo game in a long time, you may want to brush up on your Halo knowledge so you can be fully immersed in the story as you play through the game's 10-hour campaign.
Escherum's orders are that you should be brought before him. He did not specify in how many pieces.
For the first time in Halo history, Halo has moved away from the linear campaign style. The game serves up its story with an open-world campaign map that allows players to explore the area on their own with side missions, dungeon-esque areas, and overworld boss fights. Each new area is complete with hidden Spartan cores that enable upgrades to different abilities and hidden audio logs containing lore tidbits that allow players to listen to personal notes and messages from past allies and foes. This in turn allows for nicely paced gameplay that weaves in immersion-enhancing backstory as the player faces the alien onslaught. 343 has seriously expanded upon Halo's single-player campaign, adding much-needed modern updates to their methods of storytelling in the medium. Aside from the campaign update, 343 has added several mechanisms to their shooter that allow for more flexible combat. The addition of the grapple shot adds a huge change to how combat feels. We found ourselves using the grapple shot for every application you can imagine. Swinging into cover during battles, flying at enemies to stun and melee them, picking up explosives and weapons from a distance, and even as just a quick way to traverse the map. The grapple shot is just an awesome addition to the game, and we'd love to see 343 added in as a base mechanic in a multiplayer mode or something like that. Aside from the new grapple shot, the addition of the drop wall, thruster dash, and threat sensor all felt like welcome enhancements to the classic Halo feel. Each ability feels like it has its place in certain scenarios and felt really rewarding to use in tight situations. Included with each new ability are upgrade trees for each one, requiring Spartan cores that players find throughout the world as currency to afford each individual upgrade. While the upgrade system excited us at first, once we got to the cooldown reduction on grapple shot and a few points in the shield core, it didn't really feel necessary to hunt down more Spartan cores and upgrade the character further. We had what we needed to effectively manage any given fight without major problems. If 343 could expand on this system and allow for more meaningful character progression and power scaling, they could have a really addictive system on their hands. On top of new abilities and ability upgrades, 343 has introduced variants of each weapon that players can acquire by defeating the various bosses in the open world. Each weapon variant provides its own unique twist on its base weapon, like the Rebound Ravager that allows you to bounce projectiles around corners or off the ground like frag grenades. The M41 Tracker is a variant of the rocket launcher that allows players to lock onto enemies and fire heat-seeking missiles. Each weapon variant gets added to your own personal arsenal that you can then load back up at any fob on the map. Running around the open world, killing unique bosses, acquiring their unique weapon variants, and upgrading your character with Spartan cores are all welcome additions to the single-player campaign and give the player something to do before and after they finish their main story missions. As a player, it's certainly exciting to find new bosses, however it would have been nice to see some varying aesthetics from each boss, through unique character models or even differentiated environments. The entire game is either a sleek, high-tech alien stronghold or a barren, forested mountainside. The lack of variants and environments left us feeling like there could have been a more immersive open-world setting to explore. It's pretty clear that the game's design goals were focused on multiplayer and the main storyline quest, with the open-world content being added in as an afterthought. 343 has opted to delay their co-op campaign until 2022, and while this probably makes sense from a development standpoint, we couldn't help but feel a little underwhelmed and disappointed by the lack of an option to play alongside a friend. Hopefully, with the advent of their co-op patch next year, 343 will look into adding more single-player content like new bosses, missions, and environments. Overall, despite a small few lacking features, the gameplay systems in Halo Infinite were all welcome changes, and the game has ultimately come a long way from its old-school origins. Multiplayer in Halo Infinite is bar none one of the best online gaming experiences I've had in years. As someone who isn't among the highest echelons of Halo fandom, I found myself logging in every day to queue up and face off against the hordes of other Spartans online. Despite a confusing and, to be frank, really disappointing user interface and user experience, multiplayer matchmaking works very well and matches you up with players who are tightly within the radius of your skill level, allowing for challenging matches that feel tough but winnable. The ranking system felt like it had my skills pinned down perfectly the entire time we played, pitting me against better and better players as I leveled up from gold into platinum, and I could really feel myself improving as I faced off against better and more competitive players. Ranked mode provides 4 game modes: Slayer, Oddball, Strongholds, and Capture the Flag, with each match being a random selection of one of the 4 options. Going into it, we were hopeful to see a ranked Slayer queue, but it was nice to experience more objective-based game modes. 343's methods for ranking players within objective-based game modes incentivizes teamwork and goal-oriented playstyles. If you're looking for a more casual, less competitive online experience, you can queue up for Quick Play or Big Team Battle, both of which are just as exciting and fun as always. So far, there aren't many negatives to the online experience, aside from the user interface, performance issues that come with a new AAA title. Oh, and of course, the controller versus mouse and keyboard debate continues as usual. It's been a while since I've played a Halo game, and needless to say, it felt awesome. I forgot how much more strategy and teamwork are involved in Halo when players take 4 shots to kill with the battle rifle. I found that in matchmaking, players were communicating over voice more effectively than in other shooters I've played. The single-player campaign was moving and exciting, and I couldn't wait to get to the next big battle or pivotal plot twist. If you're looking for an online game where you can queue up and blow off steam while still feeling competitive in gold or platinum, or just a worthwhile single-player campaign, Halo Infinite offers both in spades. While the matchmaking user interface is abysmal and the game requires a powerful machine to run, the game itself makes up for it. It kept us coming back for one more game and one more mission. We gave Halo Infinite an 8 out of 10. For more gaming news, reviews, and guides, keep it IQ.